What's up, everyone? Another Tuesday night on the Multifamily Napkin Underwriting Zoom with myself, Aldo, and Will, brought to you by Multifamily Freedom Chasers. It is nice to see everyone. It is crazy to think we have started May because just yesterday it was January. So I don't know what the heck is going on. If any of you have a clue, let me know. And on that note, we have some pretty cool stuff to talk about tonight. And we are going to be picking on some of you. So let's have some fun.
All right. Well, this is our agenda. Like the Freedom Boys, we also like to stick to an agenda. We like to keep this to at an hour exactly. So we'll be ending right around 9 o'clock tonight. And these are the topics of conversation that we'll be having tonight. We'll go through the introduction, which we just did. We'll talk about our community ecosystem for everybody that's not familiar with it. Then we go into our main topic, which we're going to be talking about negotiations today. And then we're going to grab our napkins and we're going to put a deal into the calculator and get some reps in with that. And then obviously leave time for Q&A for you guys. So with that, let's talk some intro. So Ed, who are you, man?
The guy who never shuts up. But my name's Edward Shamirian, based out of LA. I've also been told I should be from New York. I don't know if that's a compliment when you combine the two coasts, but yeah, based out of Los Angeles, a realtor, specializing in obviously underwriting. Also work with the broker outreach call we do on Mondays that we'll tell you about a little later. And also play around a lot with the Aldo's favorite thing about real estate, creative finance. And let me know how I can help. My number's in my name. You guys know how to reach out to me. I've had the pleasure of talking to a lot of you before and having long talks. So if anyone else wants to talk shop or needs help with anything, feel free to reach out.
Sweet.
Awesome. Go for it, Aldo.
All right. My name is Aldo Ancheta. My partner, my ride or die, William Otis, and I started a company. We founded Stoic Holding Solutions last year. But before that, we've known each other since college. And we've worked in the senior living space for several years. We're closing in on 25 years combined of operations and asset management experience in the senior living space. And we're hoping to take those skills and transfer them into the multifamily real estate industry. So with that, we're syndicators and we're looking for properties in the Birmingham, Chattanooga, Knoxville, North Georgia area, including Atlanta as well. And we're just busy underwriting and putting in LOIs all over the place. So if there's anything we can do for you, whether it's looking at a deal for you, helping you underwrite, etc., you let us know. We'd be happy to connect. So enough about us. What about you? Let's get on here and we'll volunteer some of you if you don't come up, but let's talk about you. Why don't a couple of you raise your hand and come on in here and introduce yourselves. Before we do that, make sure that you're putting your information on the chat, where you're from, your contact info, your handles, and what you're looking for, what your expertise is. This is a time to connect as well as it is a time to learn. So with that said, give us a couple of intros. Go for it, Logan.
What's up, guys? My name is Logan Pritchett. I'm actually I just became a real estate agent over here in the Atlanta area. I'm closer to the northwest side over by Kennesaw, Georgia. I got into multifamily last fall because my mom was diagnosed with cancer, and I want to be able to take care of my little sister. And so I looked for a guy to start teaching me about real estate, found a mentor, and he started meeting with me. I just met them today. We meet like every week, and he gives me a bunch of advice on the next steps to take. And he's really smart, really great guy, does really well for himself. And so I just really got involved and thought getting my license would help me kind of get a little step further, and it has a lot in many great ways. But of course, there's the investing is a whole nother aspect, and you've got to do a lot more for that. So that's basically my mission is to, of course, invest in multifamily like the rest of you, and hopefully I would love to connect with anybody else. I'll put my information in the chat, but definitely I'm already working on a few deals and looking at some stuff and been underwriting and stuff. So just I'm looking for all types of people to build my network. So feel free to reach out, please, and I would love to connect.
I love it. Thanks, Logan. Welcome. You're in the right
Yeah.
place and you're doing the right thing.
Huge shout out, Logan, for like you're taking actions, that you're doing what you need to, and it's really cool to see you guys. A lot of people in this group are doing a lot of cool stuff, so it's always cool to have everyone here in the room with us. I love it.
Thank you.
Should we take one more?
Yeah, let's do one more. And I'm just gonna add a little bit to Logan. The guys are the real deal. Met him a couple weeks ago at a meetup down at ATL. And so definitely get to know this guy. He's definitely going places. So Logan, glad to have you, man, and appreciate you sharing your story.
Thank you. Very encouraging. Appreciate you.
And thank you for bringing down the average age of our group.
Absolutely. All right. Well, you guys want to volunteer somebody? I know that we've had.
Do we have anyone new here tonight? Is there anyone that's never joined us before? We have a little bit smaller group tonight, but if so, throw a 1 in the chat. I'd love to see if we have anyone new here. I see Sandy has her camera on. So Sandy, maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys. Yeah, I've been on here before. I'm in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just recently retired from my W-2, 20 years of pharmaceutical sales, and I'm now doing full-time multifamily real estate investing. I learned a couple of years ago about it doing flips on the side. I thought I was killing it doing flips, and then I went to a Grant Cardone conference and learned how to 1031 into a value add apartment complex. And so that's what I did here in Charlotte. It took the capital, and now I'm building new townhomes, modular townhomes for affordable housing here in Charlotte. So at this point, I'm just looking how to scale, grow. I took my 401k and put it into a value add in St. Croix and then Cardone. So I am so all in that in this strategy that at 43 years old, like I've dedicated my life full time to this, and I'm in it to win it and just keep growing and learning and joining associations and webinars and podcasts and hiring coaches and mentors, and yep, just doing what I can. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you.
That's awesome.
You're killing it, Sandy.
Killing it.
Killing it.
Do we need to talk today? I think you guys should run this show. I don't know what we're doing. Well, although I don't
You
know.
guys are the real pros.
I
don't know what the heck
I'm
we're doing up
retiring.
here.
Sandy, you
Between
take over.
Logan, Sandy, David, like you guys got this. I don't know what the heck I'm doing down here. Jeez, give us a chance. We should have had them go last. What is this? Like at the end of the call. This isn't fair.
And I see we do have someone new, Paul. So Paul, maybe I don't know if maybe tell us quickly about yourself.
Sure. Hey, nice to meet you all. So I'm in Austin, Texas, and my story is I've been a head and neck surgeon for the last 30 years. I retired year and a half ago. About 20 years ago, I started a family real estate company, and I had that on the side. I knew I wanted to do something in my retirement. And so we started that, and started with my family, my kids. So my big why is building a company for my kids. And so I've employed my 33-year-old son and my 27-year-old daughter, and hopefully trying to, teach them how to fish instead of giving them fish. And so down that model. So I have another development company that we started about 13 years ago as well with a partner. And So I have kind of been sponsor guaranteed on about right close to about $500 million in property value. We've done a little over 40 full cycle syndications. And so I'm working more now in Texas in Austin, working with some companies there. You guys probably know the Massive Capital people. And so I've been working with them and some other people, and we're doing some development. Got a 110 unit townhome project going in Georgetown, just right next in Austin, and a couple of other projects. So yeah, so I'm just here to learn, and I've heard of you guys and kind of wanted to just jump in and see what you guys are all about.
Sounds like we need to learn from you, Dr. Paul.
Well, I'm one of those dumb doctors that probably doesn't know enough about medicine or enough about business as I think I do, but we've been doing it a while, and I'm really excited to give my kids a business that they can run. So yeah.
Well, glad to have you. Appreciate
Thank
you
you.
joining us this evening.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, thanks, man. I love the diversity of people that we have here, from beginners all the way up to 40 full cycle syndications, man. That is crazy. Thanks for being on here with us. With that, let's go to the next slide. Will, you want to talk to us about our ecosystem, brother?
I'd be honored to. Well, hey, we're glad to have you guys here this evening. And yeah, let's talk a little bit about the multifamily freedom chasers. So we are a group of professionals that many of us have W-2 jobs that do real estate on the side, and you know, and listen to a lot of your different stories here, even just this evening. Sounds like you guys are pretty much all in the same boat as many of us. But the multifamily freedom chasers really was started by the three guys who are on the left side of the screen here, Marcel, Trevor, and Vic. And they had this vision and passion to start a community where you know, people can get inspired, they can connect, and really just learn about investing in multifamily real estate while trying to juggle daily life and the struggles of daily life, and working in W-2, and ultimately trying to find financial freedom for our families. And Dr. Paul, you're talking about creating a business for your family. That's what the multifamily freedom chasers are all about. We're about creating financial freedoms for our families, for the people we love, and so forth. So on Sunday nights at 8:30 p.m., Marcel and Trevor and Victor, they start off the week and they get us activated. And we've had some incredible speakers that come on Sunday evenings. So definitely need to get involved in that one. It will pump you up and leave you feeling energized. And so we love to see you there on Sunday nights. On Mondays, Billionaire Pete and Ed, whose picture should be on there, who also co-hosts this evening's Zoom. They jump on the call. They jump on broker talks, and they call brokers and teach you how to have conversations with brokers and how to network with brokers, and to get them on your teals and get them on your team and get deals flowing your way. And so definitely join Mondays. That's at 2 p.m. Then of course on Tuesday nights, you have the three of us here talking about napkin underwriting. And so once you have your connections with your brokers, you have the deals flowing your way, this is where you come on Tuesday night to start underwriting those deals and learning about whether or not you should invest in this asset or not. And so hopefully tonight you guys brought a deal with you that you're willing to share. We'd love to take a look at that. I think Ed said that he might have had someone share a deal earlier. So, but if you have one, please throw one in the chat. We'd love to be able to showcase you this evening and kind of talk through that with you. And then on Wednesday nights, we have alternating every other week. Tomorrow night, I believe it's the Miles family is going to be talking about that's our lender call, our financing team, and kind of talk about the debt market, what's happening currently in the debt market, just a lot of great topics if you want to learn more about the financial side of the business. And then on the alternate Wednesday night, once you've kind of learned the basics from Aldo and Ed and myself, then Victor has an advanced underwriting Zoom, which is top notch. Definitely would recommend that you join that if you can. And I think you will learn a lot from that. And both of those, the miles starts at 7 p.m. and then the advanced underwriting starts at 8 p.m. on alternating Wednesday nights. So that's a little bit about our community. And, you know, ultimately, I think what I love about, more than anything, what I love about this community, it's all free. You don't have to pay for anything. We're all here just volunteering our time. And I think that's, you know, a great thing about this, because really we're just here to serve, and we're here to help educate and hopefully provide value to you as you pursue your journey in multifamily real estate.
Absolutely. Thank you, Will. Appreciate that. Very well put description of this ecosystem, and just a couple of housekeeping items on these. These are have just changed. Our Wednesday Zooms with the Miles family, they're going to be changing those to 8 now. And so we need to update this sheet. And also the Sunday nights, they're testing out 8 o'clock as well, as opposed to 8:30. So keep that in mind. But you'll get a million reminders anyway if you don't already. So with that said,
and I might start charging you guys, but we don't know yet.
get out of here, Ed.
This is, you don't get any.
This is our contact information. If you have any questions for us, you know, feel free to email any one of us. We also have our Instagram handles on our names, well, except for Ed. And so, well, I do. So you can hit us up on that as well. So with that said, Ed, you have 8 minutes to go over negotiation, and then we can start hitting, I think, Sandy's deal here in a second.
Let's make it tenant, we'll call it a deal. Ironically enough, that's kind of what we're talking about. So with the negotiation, and I think I've shown you guys this before with my LOI. I'll try to pull it up as I'm talking here. But the one thing with the multifamily space is, I know in single family space, we really do worry about the asking price a lot. Where in this space, one thing that I've realized is almost 90 to 99% of the time, the seller knows they're not going to get what they're asking for. It's just the bottom line. If the expectation is that they have to hit that number, they're in for a rude awakening, because unless they have it priced very well, which is obviously always an option. But really what comes down to the negotiations is to make sure that you're really aware of where your numbers are and give yourself room to move. One thing that I've shared before that I want to share real quick as well, just so you have an idea of who I personally use a lot in that in this space, is the LOI. And this is just like a sample of some numbers thrown together on an LOI. So don't worry about the details so much as you do the actual LOI itself, and with just how different the few offers are, or maybe not that different in this example. Essentially what we look to do is, I'm always trying to figure out what the seller's exact motivation is, their reason for selling, and why they are doing that over anything else. In my opinion, if you have a multifamily, this is just how I learned real estate. You never sell anything unless you have to, or you have a really good reason. Now that good reason could be, I'm turning 50 units into 150 units, and I think that's a great reason. Or if you're in a partnership and you have 5 people and they're all splitting up, well, it's not a great reason, but you don't really have a choice. Actually, it's something I bring that up because that's the scenario that I'm running into now. It's when you get more information from the seller, you'll find a better way to meet the seller's needs. I had an offer on a property, and they came back and said they want X dollar amount, and one of the sellers it's a part of a partnership, and one of the sellers doesn't want to sell. They love the property, they believe in it, and they want to be in as long as they can into the deal, and they're willing to sell it, carry their equity with us. And on top of that, potentially invest as LPs into the deal we're buying from them. I've never done that, but I'm excited because they have other assets that they sold. He's in 1031 his properties back into our deal. He might have taken care of majority of the capital raise from me. So you really want to know who you're working with because it'll allow you to put the best deal together. And that's what business we're in. We're trying to structure the best deal we can for not only us as GP, but our LPs. The best way to make money in this business is by making your LPs money. It's just the bottom line. You want them to stay with you and you want them to reinvest in deals as they come and as you mature out of one into the next. So just you guys can see the LOI on my screen, right? Yeah, cool. Okay. So what the reason why I want to show you guys is just to show, like, if I'm offering 3 offers up front, my intention is never to get one of them accepted. If that it is, and if one of them do get accepted, I get a little nervous. Actually, Logan, we were talking today. I had someone who I sent an LOI. They offered within like minutes. They accepted the offer, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I did something wrong." I went back and I was like, "Never mind." It just, hey, now nobody's perfect, and I was just like, "No, this isn't gonna work." They accepted it way too fast. I told the broker that I sent the offer through. I was like, "There's something wrong here." So really, what the point is to be very aggressive on the first offer, because you're gonna go through a song and dance. Unfortunately, this will be the 3rd or 4th offer we're putting on this one specific property, between verbal and non-verbal, like written offers. Another thing to keep in mind is make your offers fairly different. Like for example, if I'm offering 11.6, that means I underwrote it at 12. If I'm asking for seller carry note of 20%, I underwrote it at 15. If I'm offering them 2% interest, I underwrote it at 4. If I'm asking for 10 years, I projected 5 or 7. And then same thing here. I'm offering 11 because I underwrote it at 11.5. And then so on and so forth. With the LOI, it is a bit of especially if there's a broker involved, keep in mind that when brokers are involved, you have to make sure that they understand why you're offering something and painting the picture. Unfortunately, one thing I hate about it is you do end up playing telephone, where you have to hope everything you are relaying or trying to relay is accurately interpreted and then told to the seller the way you'd like it to be. But that's part of the business. Now, is it the most fancy and creative LOI? No. Obviously, the point of the LOI is just to put something on paper, put your offer out there and get feedback. My goal is to get as much feedback as I can every time I interact with the seller or their representative, aka the agent. I'd be curious if anyone has any questions on LOI or just the entire process itself in regards to what to look for, or if there's any specific hurdles or obstacles they've had in putting an offer together, sending an LOI. I think there is one topic that we haven't touched on yet that I can briefly go over, but just wondering if there's anyone else has or if anyone else has anything else to add.
So, Edward, you put in this LOI with the strategy of what? Like, you put in your first numbers, they're low compared to what you probably could do with your pro forma, and then you expect 1, 2, 3 iterations of that, perhaps?
So ideally, we don't want to do the song and dance forever, and I appreciate that question because it does really touch on what one of the main points of my LOI is. I want to find out what's most important to them.
Good point.
One thing that this LOI I like about is it tells me that based on how they respond. I've had multiple times the seller say, "I want the price of offer 1, but I want the terms of 3." I'm like, okay, so you just want me to come up in price. Like, you don't want to carry anything. I'm like, that's basically what you're telling me. But the intention with this is like, look, the reason why there's 3 offers and why it's not one offer of what you want, because I can't do that. Like I'm showing you what I'm capable of putting together. And also sometimes sellers don't even know this is an option. So it's like if I give them multiple options, it shows them how flexible I can be. Like, hey, do you want to carry only 10%? Okay, I'm offering you 11 million. You're open to carrying 20% or more? I will offer you more, and I'm showing you I can do that. If you want this due in 10 years, okay, carry 25%. Or you want it for 10 years, we're gonna lower this price to 11.3. You know, if I put every variation, we'd have like a periodic table size with offers. So essentially what the objective is look, this is what I'm throwing out there. This is how flexible I can be. Let's dance. It takes 2 to tango. So unless I know they're open to it, there's no point in me trying to like sending an offer, because at the end of the day, if they tell me they can't sell a carry or they don't have an assumable loan and this is all they care about is getting the best traditional offer, cool. There you go. That's my number. One mistake I made early on was I was putting this offer first and getting yelled at a lot. Because they would see, oh, you're offering 10.5, it's listed for like 12.5. And right away they just reject me. I'm like, but there's 2 offers like past that. Like, did you even read that? They're like, no, we got rid of the first one, didn't like it. So always put your best offer first, in my opinion. One thing I learned. Funny enough though, this scenario, maybe not in this specific LOI because the numbers are so close, but usually my highest price is the most beneficial to me. So I'm going to repeat that. The highest price I offer is usually the best case scenario for me, because the seller only sees the number, but I'm playing with the terms on the back end. If I can minimize my cost of entry, if I can extend my seller carry for as long as possible, and I can get the best interest rate, I'd have to really screw a deal up where $600,000 in 10 years is the difference. If that's the case, I messed up royally. We have bigger problems than what I offered. So that's just a little thing as well. It's the lowest price doesn't always mean the best deal for us, I should say.
Thank you. That's great.
Yeah, appreciate the question. That was a good one. Anything else?
Ed, I have a question.
Oh yeah, go for it. And then Logan, you can go next.
So my question is the purpose of the LOI is it's non-legally binding, right? But let's just say you agree on something and send the purchase agreement. Is there, I guess, what is the difference or what is the purpose of just sending the LOI? Is that more of just a, hey, this is a preliminary versus like in single family, there's never an LOI, it's always a purchase agreement. So why not just send the purchase agreement and have them sign and then they kind of go from there?
First reason is gonna be you should almost, and I say almost because I don't want to assume there can't be an exception, but it's kind of like you're gonna do this 100% of the time, is you're gonna have lawyers involved. And it's like, do you really want to accrue all these fees before you really know what the seller and you want? Or if you even have a deal in place, like you could go back and forth, spend thousands of dollars on lawyers and nothing happens. You know, I could send out 15 LOIs in a week and I didn't blink, you know, that's the biggest reason. And also with that, like when you have an agent involved, it's a little easier of just, hey, send this and then we'll get the official contract out. But the big part is, for example, if I am offering seller carry and I know they're interested, I've just added so much more paperwork and details that I don't want to have to go through with the seller unless I know we're actually proceeding. I look at multifamily, like the offer and purchase agreement, song and dance, as I keep calling it tonight, as it's kind of like dating. Like you're gonna keep going on a few days until you ask them to marry you, which is essentially the escrow. That the escrow is your marriage period. That's how I look at it. So you want to really make sure you're on the same page before you spend legal fees, draw up all these contracts, spend time reviewing them, because it's not a short document. Like in single family, you could get away with a 2-page contract, you know, for most of the time. Not necessarily the case. Then that's the biggest reason, just time and efficiency.
I would just add to that, Ed, that with multifamily, because of the things that you've mentioned, also the high, complexity of getting a deal through, just the fact that there's a due diligence period, and There's not one typically in single family. This is just a little note that you write your high school crush about starting a conversation, right? I think Will put it that way last time. This is what you hand to them to start the conversation and let them know that you're serious, right? And oftentimes that's what it takes to get some more information from the brokers as well. So it's a conversation starter and it's a negotiation starter. And you probably don't want to get your PSA right off the bat because there's a lot of stuff that can come up later on. So.
Oh, I want to add one last thing before we get to Logan's question. And I hate to say this, but if I show my full hand up front, they can just turn around and use the same structures with all the other buyers. Unfortunately, like it's happened where I would bring up ideas, suggestions, like, hey, can we try this? Can we try that? And then they're like, oh, now that we know the seller's open to this, we're gonna go find a buyer. I'm like, hold on, time out. Like, this is my idea. Like, what do you mean? But yeah, welcome to real estate.
Logan.
All right. Hey, thank you. This might be a goofy question, but there's no dumb questions, right? So, I just want to make sure I'm clear on this, and this should be a quick answer. But seller, what does it mean for the seller to carry again? So, like, I know they're buying, the buyer's buying it for 11.6 mil, and then what does it mean for the seller to carry 20%?
So I'm happy you asked that because I feel like that's a question that a lot of people may have but don't ask. So the seller carries essentially if they're carrying 20%, that means I only have to find 80% of the money.
Okay.
So they're essentially going to be another lender or investor in the deal. And where it gets creative and beneficial, and we'll talk about this on another call, because I could spend hours on this, there's a lot of tax benefits on the back end for them, which is why it's beneficial. And this goes back to the whole reason of make sure you know why your seller is selling, because there's a lot of benefits that I can go into for someone that seller carry would have if I know why they're selling.
Okay.
So I'll kind of leave it at that.
Can I make them a second priority?
If there is a loan in first position, yes, they'd be second. Or you can get creative with it and make them a LP on the operating agreement in the LLC that owns the property, depending on what kind of agreement you have, which that's one of the setups I'm doing.
That makes sense. Okay, now I get
Yeah,
it.
and as Will added, it's also like seller carry, seller finance, tomato.
Same thing.
Same.
Wow. Ed, you kept that answer under 5 minutes. I mean, even under 2 minutes, man. I'm
getting good at
impressed.
this.
I'm impressed. So
I'm conscious of the time.
no, I love it, man. That's good. So I think we need to move on to the next stage here, which is to bring our napkins.
Yep.
So with that said, Sandy says she had a deal. Is that the one you guys had, Ed? Or maybe
I
since
don't think so. I'm gonna stop.
okay, maybe since she's here, we can go ahead.
Sandy.
First. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen. And get that going. So Sandy, if you don't mind unmuting and just kind of walking us through the deal here, that'd be great.
Okay, so this is a unique deal that we have under contract. It's new construction. It's 6 units. Its offer price is 1.2 million. And as far as underwriting the units, 3 midterm rentals for the nurses at $2,400 a month. And then
Are they all the same size?
they
Maybe?
are, yep, they are.
Okay.
So they're 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,900 square feet. Market rents for furnished finder for the travel nurses in that area are $2,400 a month, and there's the demand.
You say they're 1,300 square feet?
Yes.
Okay. 2,400 a month. Okay, that's good.
Okay, and then
Okay.
3 units will be $1,639 a month.
So
So I accounted for a 3-month minimum to get this stabilized, because like I said, it is new construction, but I think we can get a lot of it done during the 60-day period to close. And as far as vacancy, I did 10%. I did 10% at management. And then I just did expenses, which came out around 28%. So the value that I came up with was 1.5 once it's stabilized with tenants in place.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess what I'm trying to do is double check my math with you all, because what we're trying to do is raise the capital on this and do it as a 12-month hold. But before I do that and really jump into this as one of the sponsors, like, I just wanted to get your opinion. So thank you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So let's do this. Let's put this 1.2 here. All right,
And
so
what have you guys offered on the property?
1.2.
You offered the 1.2, okay.
for the 1.2, okay. So you have 3 units coming in at 2,400, and you know you can get that. There's demand for that, and you can keep it going. And then there's the other 3 that you're going to do long-term leases on for 1,639. Correct? Okay, and so then at stabilization, your average rents are going to be $2,020.
Okay.
6 units. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 6 units at 90%. Your total income is 130,000, almost 131,000. Is that what you're getting?
Yep. 130,800. Yep.
So, you know, on the napkin, we throw in for A class, which I'm assuming this is an A class because it's a new build. We throw in a 45%, you know, standard. That's going to include, you know, things like your management fee, utilities. If you pay for them, are you paying utilities, or is it
No.
metered?
No.
Okay,
They'll pay their own.
Okay, that'll probably bring it down. So you're saying you're coming up with a 28% expense ratio on this.
That included my management fee, so 10% management, so I guess 18% expense.
Okay, what about, so you'll need to keep that on there. So that, I mean, your management, are you managing it or is somebody else managing it?
It'll be on-site management, one of the long-term tenants.
You'll need to, yeah, you'll need to add that on your operating expenses for sure. And what about taxes and insurance? That's gonna be a whopping amount.
Yeah, taxes are at 4,000. I'm sorry, 4,000
Okay, is that per month or per year?
annually, and then hazard insurance came in at 4,800 annually.
Okay. So what are your total expenses that you're seeing on here? You said 28%.
Total operating expenses I've got at 37,000.
Yeah, 37,000. I mean, if you can get that, that's great. So for the purposes of this example, for everybody else as well, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use the 45% expense ratio. So this is gonna be a conservative figure, and I don't doubt that you could get you know, about a 30% expense ratio in this asset class right now because it's brand new. You've got good tenants on there, and yeah, so with that, your NOI is coming out at the 45% expense ratio, coming out right around 7.2 million, which gives you a pretty decent going in cap rate of 6%, I would say, at the 1.2 million. That's not, so yeah, so this is at stabilization at 90%, right? And you're calling it stabilized 90%. So honestly, this, I mean, just looking at it like this, I would say carry on and explore it more deeply. You know, put it in a calculator to get more details out of this. Now, one of the big factors here is going to be your debt.
Right.
So have you gotten any quotes for this already?
No, initially what we were thinking is to just do it as a full capital raise. And bring in a
100%
capital
fine.
partner on it. And then in 12 months, if they want to stay on, we can exit via refi or sell it to them, whatever we need to do.
1.2 million, okay. So it's a 6% return.
plus a half the profits. So,
So
I had it around like 17, 18% return for the capital investor with the option to stay on if they want to keep it. So would you like promote this deal?
wait a minute, hold on, 17% on 1.2 million?
Well,
after-
because
After sale?
No, I think because she's adding in the cash flows to,
IRR.
yep, and half of the profit for the flip, getting it at 1.2, and then the valuation of the
The
1.5.
sale. Okay. Okay,
what,
so you would return the capital essentially, you would return the 1.2 plus the cash flows. Would you give anything else on top of that? Or is that about it? So it's just cash flows plus capital.
Yeah, plus split a profit,
How are you splitting your profit?
50-50.
So 50%. Okay. Okay. So on the refi or sell, you're splitting the profits above the 1.2 million 50-50.
Correct.
How much do you think you could sell this for? Let's see.
156.
So let's just say you do nothing else to this and you keep it at 90% on a 45% expense ratio. Where is this located?
Radcliffe, Kentucky.
Radcliffe, Kentucky. Kentucky. Will loves Kentucky.
oh, I love that. I love Kentucky.
Do you have a sense of what cap rates on the A classes are there? I mean, it can't be more than 5.5, honestly.
I ran this one at 6.
You ran it at 6
Yep.
on exit.
And what are you saying your average rents are going to be at exit? Are you going to be trying to
Push that.
push the revenues there?
No, they're gonna be exactly what they are listed. So I
So
think
right
with-
now, your entry cap is at 6% on
Yeah.
this. If you exit at a 6 cap, it should be the same. So in order for your value to go up to 1.5, you have to use a lower cap rate.
No, I'm sorry, you're right, I did. Okay, hold on, you are so right. On cost basis was 7.6.
7.6%
Yes,
cap rate.
yes.
That's gonna drop your price.
Is that the going in cap or the exit cap?
That would have been the going in, and then the cap based on the after repair stabilized value was at 6.
I see what
Because
you're
their
saying.
market cap rates were at
Mhm.
7. And with the
So
rate of
they're
that,
underwriting this at a 7 cap.
yes,
What are they showing in their, I guess, in their pro forma as an NOI amount?
well, they don't have one because,
So, I mean, basically, yeah. If you keep your expense ratios at 30%,
okay, so dig in with this.
yeah, absolutely. I would still kind of underwrite it at 45% expense ratio, just for
Okay.
kicks and giggles. But just knowing that you're gonna, be able to get 30% on that. So that, yeah, so your returns are at 7.5, 7.6% essentially on this, or from an NOI standpoint, minus of course your mortgage. Well, no mortgage, so it's all profit. I mean, it's all cash flow. So now we just need to figure out on your exit. Well,
The thought of exit was just to sell and do 6% selling costs. And then a split of the profits. Unless the capital partner wanted to buy it out and just take over at that point, that's the option.
sure. I'm not questioning, but just thinking out loud about why they would underwrite at 7.6% cap rate on a new build. And is it already, you already have tenants there?
Only one
Are they a long-term or one of these nurses?
long-term. The nurses would be a new strategy. So that would be kind of the forced appreciation on the deal. They're selling it at the long-term rental rate that it is currently, the 15 something.
It's your upside.
So yeah, 1575. So really turning those 3 units into midterm rentals is where we were able to kind of force appreciate it on a new construction.
Mhm.
Yeah, because that's gonna be the biggest way for you to be able to drive your upside is through your rates. And so that makes a little more sense if they're using kind of the long-term strategy, and then implementing this short-term strategy into it. I can see how that would drive your upside at exit.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I know that it works. I mean, I'm doing it in Charlotte. Out of the 12 units, I'm turning
Mhm.
6 into midterms for the purpose of refining it. And the lender is fine with me doing that. They'll just take the new leases. So my hope is that this will be the same.
So this Kentucky property, what'd you say the name of the town was?
Richmond.
Oh, Richmond. Yeah, so we're very familiar with Richmond.
I know Richmond very well.
Okay.
I'm just thinking in terms of, so I guess there's plenty of hospitals there. There would have to be, so
EKU's right there.
yeah, EKU, from a demand standpoint, you're also close to Lexington. And so it's a lot cheaper for you to stay in Richmond and drive into Lexington. So
Mhm.
there's some of that there for you. From a travel standpoint. The reason I ask is to try to gauge to see if there's good demand there. Because Charlotte, like Richmond is not Charlotte, you know.
No,
And-
no, I did check, and you're 15 minutes Eastern Kentucky. Furnish Finder did have a list for it. There's a Tesla battery plant, pharmaceutical plant. There's a big convenience store, a lot of gas pumps right there. Fort
Buc-ee's.
Boonesboro.
Gates, yep, Myers,
So
Chick-fil-A.
looking in the current area, yeah, right there, it seemed to be, as far as underwriting goes, it wouldn't be a problem to keep it at 90% occupancy.
Sure. Yeah, sure. 3 bedrooms for 1639 in Richmond.
And it was just the market rents at a
could see
3% increase.
I can
so-
see that.
I can see that. So 2,400 if you push it to the short-term rentals or midterm rentals. I can also see that. I guess in retrospect, I probably would have offered $1 million. Were they pretty? Where are you right now? You said you're under contract?
We are.
So let's say if I'm at $1 million in my average rent, so I'm gonna use what they tell me they think they can rent this at, and then I'm gonna give it the upside for my side, right? So they think we can get it for 1640 for all long-term rentals. I'm gonna use that number. Obviously, you're gonna corroborate that, and then you're gonna use that number to get your total income and then NOI, etc. So at 30% expense ratio. With $1 million offer, you'd be coming in at 7.43. And so then that's going to give you the upside when you move your rents up to 2,400 for half of that. And so, and then that's, of course, that's assuming you can sell it at a 5.5 cap. I don't know what Richmond is doing in terms of cap rates. But I can't imagine you go up above 6%, which is good. So you have like a couple $100, upside just right off the bat. And you say you can bring it up to stabilized at this 2020 average in what, 3 to 6 months?
Minimum would be 3, max 12.
Hey, Aldo.
Yeah,
Mario brought up a good point that the exit expense ratio is at 45. So that would help out quite a bit too if you change that.
that would
down.
help. That's a good point, Mario.
Unfortunately, everything is under warranty, HVAC. I mean, so I would hope that our expense ratio is
So
minimal.
if I were coming along buying it from you, I'm gonna underwrite at 45% and I'll offer you 1.2. You know what I mean?
Got
So
it.
just think about that.
Okay.
I-
So, okay.
Obviously, you're gonna obviously showcase, hey, we have a 30% expense ratio. You have your P&L showing exactly why. And the only thing that's really potentially gonna go up for them is gonna be taxes and insurance possibly. And that would be, probably fairly minimal. So that, I mean, that's a good upside, right? I would definitely
Right.
spend time on this. I would definitely spend
Okay.
time on this.
Yeah, I think this is, I think Kim, or Sandy, I'm sorry. I think you're gonna do great here. It's, yeah, I mean, I do agree with Aldo. Probably would have been better to try and get it a little bit less. But that's just him and I, like, we're super conservative when it comes to
Yeah.
like, putting out LOIs on what we're willing to pay. But yeah, I think even at 1.2, if you can prove out the strategy, if you can drive the rent the way that you think you can, I think what also would help is if you can get it all the way up to 100%. Of course, people are going to underwrite it, probably at least 95 or 90%. But if you can get it to 100% and prove out, that you're getting, that revenue.
Oh,
Yeah.
easily. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the 1.5 can make sense, at exit. So
Okay, then I will dig into this and get my deck together, and thank you
yeah,
very much.
well, I appreciate
Yeah,
you
and
bringing
that
it.
was actually one question I had, just because it's like six units, like underwriting it at 90% occupancy, like isn't it either going to be like 100% occupancy or like 82%? Because isn't
Well,
like
I just went with what the lenders are doing, just,
okay,
but I agree with it. Yeah, in like human world, it would be that or that.
yeah,
But they
I
just
guess it
make
could
me do
average out to
90%.
10%.
That's
Yeah.
right. So you're looking at an average
I got you.
occupancy.
Remember this, the
Yeah, and then
vacancy, for example, sorry, real quick on the vacancy. You could get prorated rents in between months. There's that too. So if I have someone leave middle of the month, I'm not losing a full month no matter when I get them in because I can prorate for the time they jump in.
Mhm.
Mario brings up another great point. Why not do all 6 of them midterm rentals?
I was going to bring that up too.
If you can get 3, I mean, can you not get 6?
I think there's less risk to the capital partner coming in to underwrite it with 3 long-term. And then if you blow it out with 6, absolutely. I personally wouldn't want to put my name on it with 6 just because I don't know that demand is there. I know that 3 is doable,
Which is, to that point, another reason why I went back and said, what if they're all long-term leases? Let's underwrite it at that specific revenue amount. And I'm sure that doesn't include other revenue points like, I don't know, pet fees or whatever fees that you could add on to that.
True.
But you underwrite it at that so that then you can see what your returns could potentially be at that price point. And even at that, your NOI is coming in at 6.2% of your purchase price, which is all returns because it's unlevered. So guys, just really quick, this is we're seeing an example of like the textbook definition of what a cap rate is. This is a capitalization rate. If you purchase a building unlevered, like Sandy's saying here, $1.2 million, your NOI is your return. 6.2% at this point. So that was a great example,
Yeah.
Sandy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Well,
This is-
thanks. And I'll be sure to email you the deck if you guys know of any capital investors that want to jump on board. Reach
For
out.
sure. For
And
sure.
then-
Yeah, that was Sandy. That was one thing I was going to say was I'd definitely just be interested to kind of maybe talk with you offline about this a little bit more. I might know somebody that might be able to help.
That'd be
So I'd
awesome.
be interested to kind of see the full deck and everything and see if there's anybody that I know that could help you out.
Awesome. I'll drop my email in the chat. Thank you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Love it. And this is why we're here. That is a high note to end on.
Uh,
Go
Thank
ahead,
you
Ed.
all. Thank you guys for sharing see, this is fun because we got a lot of different input. I just want to say, like, let me know how else we can help. You know, we get on calls with everyone. We're here to bounce ideas off of each other, and you guys connect. If you guys need anything, my phone number's here. Please text me so I have your contact info. Save my number and reach out with anything else. Another great night. Thank you, Will. Thank you, Aldo. Thank you all for being on here. Thank you for participating, and enjoy your Tuesday nights.
Crushing it again.
Great
job, guys.
Thank you.
Oh, hey, Peter was
Thanks,
here. I didn't
y'all.
notice you.
What up,
Hey,
Pete?
guys.
Billionaire Pete.
yet again. See you guys.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks for joining, everyone. We'll see y'all later.
Night, guys.